Hi, guys. Hi. Hello. Hi. Hi, this is Marina Shepelsky, New York-based immigration attorney. I'm doing my Friday show, but I realized today that I forgot it's Friday, first of all, because I haven't been outside since I have COVID. I haven't been outside for like 12 days. So I had totally forgot that today's Friday and this is the day where I do my live show. But then when I realized that it was already late, and for some reason when I scheduled it, it's scheduled for 4 p.m. instead of 1 p.m., even though on my screen it said 1 p.m. Whatever. All these technical difficulties aside, I'm here with you guys, and it's Friday, and the weekend is almost upon us. And December is my favorite month of the year. And for two reasons. First of all, it's Christmas. It's my favorite holiday, even though I'm not even Christian. But I am from the Soviet Union. I was born in USSR, and we celebrated New Year's as if it was Christmas, except for the religious part. So other than the Christian part, I love Christmas. We love Christmas season. We have a tree. Even though we're Jewish, every year we put up a tree. We do gifts, but we usually exchange them on the evening of December 31st in my family, like all the other Russian-speaking former Soviet people. So it's my favorite holiday, and December is my favorite month. But also my birthday is this month, and I'm one of those crazy people who still likes to celebrate my birthday, even though I'm getting old. I'm going to be turning 45 this year, a round number. Not 50, but only 45. So if you guys thought I was younger, you were wrong, okay? I'm 45, and I have this really high, squeaky voice, so people sometimes assume that I'm younger than I am. I'm going to be turning 45. I have 3 kids. They're very excited, and my plan was to be away in the Caribbean island of Aruba this year for my birthday. We'll see how that goes down because I have COVID. My husband now has COVID, and one of our kids has COVID. So we're trying to get through this and be able to take the test 3 days before the trip and then a day before the trip to be negative. But it might not happen. Oh, well, we got insurance. So if we end up not going, we'll cancel using the insurance plan. Sadly, we had planned this trip for my birthday back in August. Who knew in August that we'll get sick right before the trip? Well, anyway, today I have lots of immigration news for you. I didn't do a really good full hour last week, so I thought that this week I would have to catch up, and I'm going to be happy to answer at the end, to answer any questions you might have in reference to your immigration case. And the purpose of the show is for entertainment and for education. This is not to provide legal advice. And if you do need legal advice, we'll be happy to answer your detailed individual questions if you give us a call at my office number, which is on the bottom of the screen. And it's a landline. So we have a whole team that respond to your calls. We have a whole team that does consultations. I personally train everyone. We discuss all of your cases together in the office. We have meetings. We have questions for each other. We had a great week in the office, even though I was working from home. Our 2 attorneys won a very difficult asylum case. It's a gay man from a Muslim country, and he's married to a gentleman here now, but his husband is just a green card holder. So he couldn't file and get a green card for him right away. So we stuck with the asylum case. We did lots of hours of preparation on it. And thank God yesterday was a court date and we won. This is a New York City immigration court. So we had a great week, and we had a great week for VAWAs, for male and female applicants filing when they're married to a U.S. citizen or green card holder and winning those cases. So we invite you guys to give us a try, give us a call. But this show is more for educational reasons and to answer anything you have about news immigration news, anything having to do with changes in law or what's going on in immigration news. And again, I'm going to get right into it because I have a lot to say today. I just like to talk about myself in the beginning to give people a chance to log in and start viewing. And probably because I started really late today, I don't see as many people as usual, but that's fine. You guys can see this later on our, it's still going to be on my channel, so you could just watch it and rewind. Okay, so still number one on my immigration news of the week list is that on November 19th, the Congress, U.S. Congress, the part that's called the House of Representatives, and Congress is in two parts, as many of you know. We have the House of Representatives and we have the Senate. So the House of Representatives is like the lower chamber, the lower parliament, and the Senate is the upper parliament. So the U.S. House of Representatives has been discussing a spending bill, and this year is very unique because of COVID. Our country had to overcome a lot, and many people wanted the Democrats in the House of Representatives to include the immigration reform provisions in the spending bill, and they came through and they did what they promised. Of course, it wasn't as extensive as people were hoping. People were hoping for green cards. People were hoping for sweeping legalization for like everyone who's here unlawfully without status right now. But that didn't happen. They did decide to include in this new law, which they're calling the spending bill, the money bill that's being called Build Back Better Act, or BBB Act, and the immigration part of it, which they set aside let me see how much, $1 billion was set aside for immigration reform. And how they're planning to spend this is as follows. Number one, work permits and temporary non-deport status. It's called temporary parole, protecting from deportation. So work permit and protections from deportation for anybody who's lived in the United States continuously since who came here at least January 1, 2011 and have been living here since. So anybody who came in before January 1, 2011 has been living here since. Hopefully, if this passes and Senate approves this, because it hasn't happened yet, the upper part of Congress hasn't approved this yet. But if it happens, work permits, legalizing like that, and temporary protections for about 7 million people. Now, out of these 7 million, there's 1.5 million who have green card or U.S. citizen holding relatives who, once they get these protections, might be able to get them green cards, which is like about, a fifth of them, okay? So a lot of people will be able to just legalize, not go all the way to a green card. This is not a pathway to citizenship, but it is a legalization with a work permit, which means you can get ID, you can get a social, you can work legally, you can get private health insurance, you can do all that good stuff, okay? Number two provision is that green card and visa numbers will be recaptured for unused visas that never were used for the quotas since 1992. So that's a lot of visas. Congress already authorized them. So they're saying, look, let's use them. Let's take them and use them for employment-based green card applicants who've been stuck in backlog over 2 years. They will pay the $5,000 supplemental fee, and they don't have to do the annual and per country quotas. Those will be waived, the quotas, no more quotas for those people. And they'll be able to get a green card with paying the $5,000 extra. This is for work-based green card applicants. For family-based applicants, it's the same idea. If you've been waiting more than 2 years and this is for people who are inside the United States. This is only for the people who are inside here, not for outside, but inside the United States, sitting here waiting for more than 2 years for your family petition to become current. You can, again, pay the extra $2,500, this is less, $2,500 supplemental fee, skip the line, skip the quotas, and just file for a green card that way. Finally, people who won diversity lottery numbers. They went to their interview, they were approved, or maybe they just had the interview, were never approved. But people who definitely won and went to the interview and were approved for immigrant visas to come here as diversity lottery green card holders, right? Because of Trump, many of them never were able to come in because of Trump's travel bans, because of COVID-related financial assistance. They could never take advantage of these winnings that they had, right? So under this new law, they could, okay? Under this new law, they will be able to come in and they will be able to use those DV lottery approved visas to become green card holders. Now, we'll see when this becomes something that Senate is even discussing, but as of right now, this week, they extended the time to finalize the financial spending bill until February 2022. And mostly it was Democrats who voted for this and one Republican. So they bought themselves time to finalize all the financial stuff and the immigration reform until February 2002. And even then, if it passes, it's going to be another at least year, I think, until this becomes law and they make forms and they start to legalize people this way. But there's some hope. There's some hope now, even though they didn't go all the way and make it a real pathway to citizenship. Perhaps this is a wake-up call to let them know they should create a separate law, not part of the spending bill, but a separate bill, a separate proposal to make a real immigration reform that has status, provisions and green card provisions for people who've been here for many years and still have no status, okay? What else? Number 2 on my list is that next week, the Biden administration is going to go back to the Trump era remain in Mexico policy for people asking for asylum at the southern Mexican U.S. border. So when Biden came in, he said what Trump did in 2019 by asking everyone who comes to the border and asks for asylum at the border to just hand in their papers and wait in Mexico. He said, oh my God, this was so inhumane. So Biden announced this is inhumane. You cannot do this to people, and I will change it. Therefore, the administration has been trying to do this since he started being a president in January 2021. But this resulted, for people who live here in America, in a border crisis. So a border crisis that resulted in migrants all running to the border, congregating, like getting together at the border, and our ICE facilities, ICE officers, the resources they have, they're not being able to handle all this. There's been all kinds of abuses happening, kids being separated from their parents, and people not being fed or refused to be fed, and people who didn't get the proper interpreters. All kinds of abuses of the system, of the asylum system, have happened. And this is a real crisis, especially for the states that are across, by the border. So the American states, including Texas, including Missouri, they got together and their Republican officials sued the federal government. They brought a lawsuit against the federal government, against the Biden's administration in federal court in August, saying we want to start that program again. We want to go back to the wait in Mexico, remain in Mexico policy. We are not able to handle what's happening right now. We need to go back to the way it was from 2019 with Trump, because this new getting rid of this remain in Mexico thing is not working for us. Our states are overwhelmed. And the Supreme Court first temporarily froze it and said, look, you have to, for now, we're not going to do this, letting in people. We're going to ask them to stay in Mexico. And now, after Alexander Mayorkas, the new Homeland Security Secretary, said back in October that this program of waiting in Mexico had flaws, imposed unjustifiable human costs, pulled resources and personnel away from other priority efforts. All of that is down the drain. the federal court ordered, ICE and Biden's administration to go back to Trump's remain in Mexico policy. What does that mean? It means that people who are now coming in from different countries in the world, Latin America, but not just Latin America. We have people from a lot of Russian-speaking countries asking for asylum at the border, from any other country too. They come to the border, they file asylum, they file their paperwork, and then they go back and sit in Mexico. Mexico and the United States reached some sort of a deal, an agreement that they're going to start to reinstate this program. And now under this reinstated deal, the new deal between Mexico and the United States, single adult asylum seekers will be the primary focus of the removals, with those transferred offered COVID-19 vaccinations. By the way, every client I've had that's detained at the border has been forced to do the COVID-19 vaccination. Not to say that it's bad or good. I'm just saying they were told you have to do it. Nobody gave them a choice, and they did it. So everybody is getting COVID-19 vaccinations, and then Mexico will accept asylum seekers from Spanish-speaking countries. So they said they'll take, I don't know what's going to happen to people who are not Spanish-speaking. Like a lot of our clients are not Spanish-speaking, right? But for now, officially, they're going back to this wait in Mexico policy, because a lot of these great ideas that Democrats had are actually not working in real world. They sound great when you're trying to get elected. They sound good on paper, but in real, in the way things are set up right now, things are not working the way they should be working. And this is a call to change the system, not just have these like election promises, but to actually have our government change the system, add more people to ICE, more people to USCIS. These backlogs are out of control. I had a consultation this week, and this client hired us to sue the federal government because she is waiting to have her asylum interview, regular one. This is not at the border. She came in by a tourist visa and filed for asylum less than a year later in 2015, early 2015, hasn't had an interview yet. We're going to file a federal lawsuit. It's called writ of mandamus against USCIS for keeping her waiting for 7 years. This woman has letters from her doctors, from her psychologist, that she has all kinds of trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder because of all this that's happened to her and all this waiting. She has family members who are like in really terrible health conditions back home. So she's like stuck here with her family, doesn't know what's happening. So we're going to be suing the federal government for making her wait for 7 years. But, not everybody has the resources to bring a lawsuit. It's expensive to hire a private attorney and do that. So they have to fix these waiting times. It's out of control what's happening, okay? So the next thing that's happened and was announced this week, which is good news, is that people who are eligible for temporary protected status, it's called TPS, will now be able to file their initial forms online without doing it by paper. Now, in my experience and other attorneys that I know experience, anything that you can file online moves much, much faster. And the processing times are much faster through USCIS system, right? So this is great news. Now, who is eligible for this temporary protected status? It's like temporary asylum. It gives you a right to be here legally, to work here legally, and even to get advanced parole. So if someone came in from Haiti, for example, in a minute I'm going to tell you all the countries, but if someone came in from Haiti without a visa but now has TPS, and they get their advanced parole, they travel, they fix the problem of coming in with no visa, and then they are able later to get married and file for a green card through marriage and get a green card. Okay, so TPS is a wonderful temporary asylum status for countries that have turbulent, dangerous conditions. These are countries that America officially designated. Just because you're from that country, you don't have to prove any abuse. Just because you're from there and you have the specific time you were supposed to file, you're able to get this temporary protected status, temporary asylum status. Here are the countries that have TPS eligibility. If you're from one of these countries, look into TPS. We'll be happy to help you. Burma, Myanmar, El Salvador, Haiti, I mentioned already, Honduras, Nepal, Nicaragua, Somalia, Sudan, South Sudan, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen. So those are the countries that are eligible now. If you've never filed before, file online for TPS. And the two forms, USCIS forms, are I-821 and I-765 for the work permit. You get those together and you file for TPS online if it's your first time. If it's a renewal, you cannot do this online. If it's a renewal, you do paper forms like we do for everything else, and you file and you get your TPS status. Now, the next thing I wanted to discuss as part of the news is that N400 naturalization form is also available for filing online, and it moves very quickly if you file it online, and your interview will happen much faster if you file for citizenship online. So I highly recommend, by the way, the USCIS.gov system is not really perfect, right? So some people have been reporting certain problems, but filing online now also allows you to pay by credit card, which is wonderful. And most forms now that you're filing with USCIS online or by paper, you can pay by credit card. So there's, benefit to doing that. And, like, look, some of us have credit cards that allow you to accumulate travel miles, right? And get travel, rewards. So if you can pay by credit card, you can maybe get a ticket somewhere out of it because all these fees are really high. So maybe the credit card company can offer you some free or discounted travel tickets, which is great. So it's useful to pay by credit card and use that system for USCIS. Also, the I-765 work authorization renewals, no problem to file online. So if you had a work permit already and it's time for you to renew it, file online. It's a wonderful thing. And most USCIS fees can be paid online using a credit card, as I mentioned. Okay, my final thing that I wanted to discuss, and I haven't discussed this in a while, but this goes back to basics for VAWA, right? One sec. If you're interested in filing for VAWA and you'd like to explore it, give us a call. We can do a consultation. Our consultation is $230, and one of our experts can discuss if you're eligible or not. VAWA is for people who are either married to a U.S. citizen or green card holder, or recently widowed and the person abused them, or you're recently divorced and your ex-husband or your ex-wife abused you in this marriage. They never wanted to file for you. Sometimes they specifically screwed up your case on purpose, sabotaged your case, made your case fail, made you lose at the interview. Okay, all of those people eligible to file for VAWA. What are the forms, right? What forms do we file for VAWA? We definitely file the I-360 petition. It's a self-petition. It means you file for yourself. You don't need the spouse, the U.S. citizen or green card holder spouse, to do anything for you, okay? It's the petition for victims of extreme cruelty and abuse in a marriage to a U.S. citizen or green card holder. Also, and not too many people know about this, if you are a parent of an adult U.S. citizen kid who is abusive to you, if you had a kid here, they grew up in America, they're over 21, and they're mean to you, they call you names, they abuse you, the fact that you're still illegal, they make fun of you, they test your patience, they're really nasty to you, you can also file for VAWA. Also, if you're married and maybe the husband or wife doesn't abuse you, but they hate your child, they abuse your child, you also can file for VAWA. So in all those situations, if you're a child and your mom is getting abused, and even if you're like over 21 now, there's options for you. Okay, so VAWA is a very wide relief and it gives you a right to get a work permit and a green card. For many people who've never filed anything before and don't have like old deportations, we also file for a green card right away. So we file together with the I-360 form, the I-485 form, the I-485, and it's called Application to Adjust Status to Permanent Residents of the United States. That also includes a separate form for I-765 work permit and a separate form for I-131 application for advanced parole. And you only pay $1,225 for the green card, the work authorization, and the advanced parole. All three in one, you pay the $1,225. For many people, we can get you a fee waiver from USCIS, meaning you don't even have to pay this $1,225. Okay, but you have to qualify for income. And for some people, they might also need one or two waivers included with the VAWA. And if you're in that situation and you know who you are, give us a call. We can discuss your waiver with VAWA situation separately. I'm getting really tired from talking. So let me read some of your questions in the comments, and I'm going to get to the Q&A part right away, okay? Okay. Hi, says to be or not to be. Hello. Colin says, wish you a quick recovery. Thank you so much. My energy level is super low right now, but I'm trying. Fatima says, hi. Hello. To be or not to be says that he or she is married almost 4 months and being abused emotionally and verbally by her husband. So it's a man, it's a woman, and she has by husband and stepdaughter. Can I file for VAWA now? Yes, 4 months of marriage. I hope you have documents to prove that this was a real marriage. I hope you have joint bills, leases, utility bills, credit cards bills, bank statements, any trips together, photos. If you can prove this was a real marriage, even for 4 months, yes, we can file for VAWA for you. Give us a call. My number is going to be on the bottom of the screen. Villarosa says, hello, hi. I have a pending I-130 at the BIA, which means they were denied and they filed an appeal with the Board of Immigration Appeals, BIA. And I'm not with my spouse anymore, but still married in the process of divorce. Can I file for VAWA? Absolutely. Yes, you can file for VAWA. Sanam says, hello, Marina. You're doing great job. Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for telling me to elbow cough. I'm not even coughing. So my symptoms of COVID were never about coughing. I was just very congested. I had a terrible headache. I don't smell anything. I don't taste anything. And I still don't. And very weak, very fatigued. I never had any cough. I didn't sneeze, nothing like that. Just and all my muscles and joints hurt. That's another thing. Body aches. What happened after, if my case I-730 transferred to National Benefit Center? That means it was, they're working on it. They're processing it. That's what happened. Dennis says 100 billion. 100 billion. No, I think only 1 billion was set for immigration reform. Jazz says, very good information. Thank you so much. Fatima says, I came on H-1B visa, Indian Embassy, lost my passport. Right now, I have a driver's license and social security number. I'm up to date with taxes and I'm overstayed more than 15 years. I have citizenship child. Solution, please. If you've been here more than 15 years and you have a U.S. citizen child, if we can prove hardship to your child, in case of deporting you, we can do cancellation or removal from you. However, I see that you don't have a passport, so that's going to be a problem because for anything that you file with immigration, including cancellation or removal, you're going to need to do biometrics and have ID. If you don't have a passport, we have a big problem because you won't be able to get through the biometrics part even, and you'll never get the interview scheduled. So you have to figure out to get a new passport from the Indian Embassy, and then we can file for you for asylum first. You'll get denied, get referred to court, and once you're in court, we can ask for cancellation of removal. Cancellation of removal is when you ask the judge to get you a green card because your child who is a U.S. citizen would be experiencing extreme hardship if they had to follow you to India. And usually it's medical problems, mental problems, things like that. Give us a call to explore, okay? But you need a passport for sure. Mahmeen says, I got my EAD card but didn't receive my green card. I daily check my USCIS case status. It shows that my interview was completed, but my case must be reviewed. It's been 7 months. What does it mean? It sounds strange, but it sounds like you already had your adjustment of status interview, your green card interview, and they're still reviewing it. You should, first of all, make an inquiry through USCIS.gov for a case status inquiry. So you just go to, I'm going to do it right now. You go to USCIS.gov, and then you hit, your case number, status, and then you make a case inquiry. So the first step is to make an electronic inquiry about your case. Also, you can call your local senator or congressperson, whoever liaisons, whoever talks to USCIS from your local politicians' offices. You can get them involved and they should be able to help move this along. And the final thing is there's this thing called ombudsman, OMBU, Ombud, DSMAN. You can also ask them for help. Sometimes they move cases along. Maria says, is the NVC approve applications expedited on humanitarian base? Yes, you can request to be expedited with NVC. You will need paperwork to prove why your case needs the expediting and why it's a humanitarian reason for it. Like, for example, somebody is dying or really sick and you can't wait much longer. Hi, I petitioned, and this is Gigi says, hi, I petitioned for my sister from India in 2006. When can she expect her visa call? So right now it's taking 14 to 15 years from the date you filed to get to the point of National Visa Center collecting documents and sending this to an interview. So if you filed in 2006, the time should be very soon. Very soon you should get a letter saying they're working on collecting all the civil documents, the affidavit of support, and the immigrant visa from your sister, her spouse, and children under 21. So the good news is it's going to be super soon, okay? Afreen says, I'm here since more than 10 years. Do I eligible for Bring Back or Build Back Better Act? If I paid all my taxes and I came an income here legally from India, but I lost my passport, I have a copy of my passport. This whole thing with having no passport, I'm telling you, is your biggest problem. And I don't know if you're the same person. It looks like you're not. So we have people from other countries that don't have passports. You need to have your passports because you're not going to be able to file for much here without your passport. You need ID to do biometrics. If you don't have anything but a copy of your passport, it's going to be a major problem. And I don't know yet, depends on exactly when you entered, but they're discussing this BBB Act about people who came here from before January 1, 2011, okay? Lucky Kumar, what a great name. It says, hi, ma'am, my case is still in withholding of removal. So this Lucky has withholding of removal. Is he or she eligible for 5-year work permit and parole? Through the new program, I don't know yet. Let's see what they say. They haven't passed it, so I don't know if they're going to be making this available to people with orders of deportation like you with withholding. I'm not sure. Okay, Ashfaq Gil says, U visa update. Please, I'm stuck overseas for 4 years in deferred action status. Hopefully some good is coming out this year. We'll see. I haven't heard anything specific about the U visas, but I know the waiting times are incredibly long for U visas. So we'll see what happens. Sorry, I don't have better news for you. Hello. Balajako says, hi, I have gone for an interview twice and got denied because my spouse withdrew application at the second interview. Oh, that's terrible. I'm sorry. What can I do now? Okay, so Green card through marriage, where a spouse withdraws the petition, is a really tough situation because that petition is dead. That's it. That case is done. However, if you can prove that the spouse was abusive to you, that they buckled under pressure, but this was a real marriage, and you can prove it through filing VAWA, we can definitely help you. Give us a call. Samba says, hello. Hi. Terry says, I have a VAWA case and they denied me. Now I got married over a year now and I didn't get a work permit authorization. They just sent an interview date to me. Should I worry? No, you shouldn't worry because, look, you shouldn't worry more than anyone else. They're super delayed with everything. You did file a new case. Just because you got denied for VAWA, it doesn't mean you're going to get denied for your new case. You know, I don't know why your VAWA was denied, but a VAWA denial doesn't mean that your new marriage case is dead. Not at all. Okay? So don't worry. Just be patient. Take a breath. I know it's very frustrating. We are frustrated like you, believe me. We have clients calling us every day, being super upset and frustrated with having to wait so long. But this is not abnormal to wait for a year. It's normal. I don't see any other comments on my screen, which is good because I'm really tired now. And I'm coming to the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a difficult, complicated problem with your immigration status, with your visa, with anything that has to do with VAWA or asylum, or green card, or even a denial of citizenship, or you would like to file a family petition, or you need a waiver, anything like that, we are here for you. We're, you can give us a call. One last one is from Aileen. She says, hi, I'm from Nambia, and we applied for a K1 visa recently. How long is the current waiting process? For Nambia, I would say 9 months to a year. And I hope to see you soon in the United States. By the way, you guys, before I get to Grace's comment, I love the show 90 Day Fiance. I watch it sometimes. I see little snippets on TikTok sometimes. On YouTube, it makes me feel happy because I see people from across the world connecting, and I see in real life the cultural differences, the differences in thinking, the problems people go through when they just get together and get married with someone from another country, somebody they've never lived with before. It's really cool, and it's interesting to see what we see in our practice, in our office, on the big screen. So, if you ever watch 90 Day Fiance, I hope you think of me and we have a laugh about it. Grace is my last comment today. Grace says that she is waiting for her I-601 waiver. It's a waiver. My I-130 has been approved. Can I apply for the I-765? Yes. If you have a pending I-485 and a pending I-601, yes, but I'm not sure at what stage of this process you are. The I-765 work permit, you can apply for when you have a pending green card application, like you're waiting on a decision on the green card application. If you have the I-601 waiver, I assume that you do. I assume that you have a waiting green card application. And I think you can. So take a look. If you have a receipt notice for the I-485, you can file for the I-765. And this is my last one today, I promise. Marina K. Sani says, please take a blend of pineapple, ginger, and honey. Yes, I'm doing all that. Thank you so much. I'm doing all that. I'm drinking like 20 vitamins a day. Vitamin C, zinc, K, potassium, some sort of a black cumin seed oil, all these things that I got from the vitamin store. Plus, I'm drinking lots of lemon and hot tea and ginger and all that stuff. It helps. But, COVID is COVID. I still feel pretty weak. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you guys next week, because I hope I won't forget next week when the time comes. I'm trying to keep these to around 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in the morning, 11 in the morning Eastern Standard Time every Friday. But it doesn't always work out. So I'm going to just keep you informed of when the next show is. As of right now, I'm hoping it's going to be next Friday at 11 o'clock. I'm going to try to schedule this ahead of time so that you guys have a chance to schedule and post your comments ahead of time, okay? Have a great weekend. If you have any interesting Christmas plans, drop a comment. Let me know below, okay? Take care. Bye. Have a